Hello, 8th grade science. These are the directions for the Waves Intro Water assignment. So you're going to find that on Google Classroom here, and I have it already open. And I think if I remember right, there's just the one thing. Okay, so you're going to open up this simulation here. This is the PhET simulation. And when it loads, if I read the directions here, it says you're going to start by turning the graph button on the right, and then you also want the side view. So I'll show you what to do with that. So you're going to click on water, because this is on the water. You're going to turn on the graph like it said, and then you want to switch it to side view, which is down here. So graph, side view, make sure you're on the water one, and then you're set up to go. The first couple of questions is, so it says, what is the median in this simulation? Remember, the median is whatever the wave is moving through. So if I turn this on without giving you the answer, think about what is the wave moving through, or what is it made of, if that helps you to think of it as well. That's what you could also describe as the medium. I'm going to turn the sound off just in case that is annoying some of you. But think about, that would be what your median is. I am again going to have you label parts of the wave, kind of using this diagram here. You got a word bank that'll kind of help you out. And then we kind of really start focusing on stuff on question 3. So in which direction is the wave traveling compared to the disturbance, which is the water drops? So notice we got water droplets are moving up and down, right? They're coming from here, they're going up and down. And that's kind of the way the wave is bobbing when it's first created. But then what direction does the wave travel? It travels towards the right. Same thing on the screen here. So we have the wave when it's created is up and down, but it travels left to right. So those are opposite. They're not in the same direction. So you'd probably say that this is perpendicular. Now you're going to start changing some of the settings. So in this case, it says you're going to change the frequency to the max setting, and you're going to describe how that impacts the wavelength and describe how it changes the amplitude. So it's kind of important that you remember what those two are. I talked about both in the instructional video. I find it helps as well if you turn on the slow mode. And that way when you change the frequency, you can start to see what's actually happening here. And I find it kind of helps too if you have some of the before you did the change waves on the screen as well as after. So you can see I have 2 waves from before, 2 waves from after, and now I can actually start to describe what's happening to the wavelength, what's different from here to here, and see if the amplitudes changed at all, which would be the height of the wave. And you might want to just kind of notice that as you go throughout, because the amplitude does change just normally throughout the whole time as it goes by, FYI. And you guys can write about that under these specific boxes. You're then going to change the frequency to minimum and kind of do the same thing. How does that impact the wavelength and the amplitude? And then you're going to change the amplitude now to the max setting. How does that impact the wavelength? And how does that impact the frequency is what this should say. And then again, you're going to change it to the minimum setting. How does that change the wavelength? How does that change the frequency? So it's really about understanding basically how frequency, amplitude, and wavelength, they're kind of interconnected. Almost like if you remember back to Unit 4 when we talked about force, mass, and acceleration, this is almost a similar-ish idea. How are those 3 kind of properties of waves or 3 things of waves, how are they connected? And you'll be able to see that or observe those things by doing some of these changes and writing about it. There's 2 conclusion questions, and you should be good to go. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.